Shrishti, to bring you in, break it down for us on what happened in court today, which clearly has led to a seismic shift in Delhi politics and also the image of Arvind Kejriwal, because for him, this was his moment of reckoning. He has come out and said everything, all the charges against me, my time in jail, my 5 ministers in jail, me being forced to step down as a sitting chief minister, being thrown in jail, Atishi coming in, my party disintegrating, all was choreographed, and so I could lose the Delhi election.
Well, Preeti, firstly, on lines of what you just said, I would like to point out that somebody who covers courts on a daily basis, I would like to say that for the order that has come in from Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court today was not unexpected, because we see this happen on a daily basis where there's a certain perception that we see being framed around certain allegations and cases, but what the court ends up pronouncing is completely different, because the court's order is not based on the political perception or the perception between perception in the public in general. It's based on the evidence and the material before them. At times the prosecution just doesn't have the evidence to prove the serious allegations that they have made. Again, as somebody who has covered the Delhi Excise Policy case since the beginning, starting from Aam Aadmi Party leader Manish Sisodia's arrest, and we also what happened post that, with multiple leaders being put behind the bars, spending months, even Manish Sisodia spending over a year behind the bars. One thing that we can say very, very clearly is that it is definitely a day for the Aam Aadmi Party and its leaders to celebrate. And I say that because we have seen them face orders which were not favorable for them. Today we have a court of law, very clearly stating that the Delhi Excise Policy scam, as the CBI and ED have been calling it since 2021, was maybe not a scam at all. The word scam has been associated with Aam Aadmi Party's Delhi Excise Policy 2021 to 22 since 2021, but the court today said that there's absolutely no evidence that has been placed before the court to even say that the excise policy was in any way manipulated, altered, changed to benefit any individual or to benefit the South lobby, as has been claimed by the investigating agencies.
It's huge. Shrishti, I want to go to two things I want to quickly ask you to summarize for us before I go to Manish. Number one, with what you say, what happened is quite unprecedented, in the kind of manner in which the judgment was given. But number one, Shrishti, has it ever happened where the courts have practically indicted a central agency, where they said that action needs to be taken against and a probe needs to be mounted against the CBI officer, because this seemed to be a premeditated, choreographed event to corner a political party? Number one. And number two, Shrishti, encapsulate for us, because many are looking at it, oh, the case has been dismissed. But in regular legal parlance, isn't a dismissal of case even bigger than an acquittal of a case?
I will answer your second question first, Preeti. Definitely a discharge at this case is definitely big, because the court very clearly didn't even think it to be a fit case to proceed further with the trial. When we talk about a case of conviction or acquittal, that happens after the case has been through trial. The court sees at least there is prima facie on the face of it some evidence to put the accused through trial. In this particular case, the court has very clearly said that the CBI hasn't even been able to put forth evidence before court to even put the accused in this case, being Manish Sisodia, Arvind Kejriwal and several others. They should not be put through a trial also. It's very rare that we see discharges happening at a pre-trial stage itself. In this case, trial hadn't even started. The court did not even think it a fit case to frame charges against the accused. That is how less the evidence that was produced by the prosecution agency in this case. As far as if we discuss the fact that this doesn't happen very rarely, that the court questions the investigating officers, of course we see from lower courts to the top court, the Supreme Court, they often question the investigation in cases, the investigating officers in these cases, but the remarks that have come in from Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court today definitely are concerning. We do not see this happen very often. To order a departmental inquiry inquiry against the CBI's investigating officer in a case of this nature. Because let's admit it, Preeti, this wasn't an ordinary case. We were talking about a case where the accused were not just political leaders. We're talking about a sitting chief minister, a sitting deputy CM being arrested, being put behind bars. So, of course, the seriousness of the case increased not because politics is involved, because sitting officers who were holding public offices were involved. And that's exactly what the court said today, Preeti, that public confidence in agencies would be eroded if prosecution would make serious allegations against those holding public offices, but won't be able to produce material to support their allegations. Back to
well, even earlier, one can remember when, you had Justice Sanjeev Khanna who had gone and said and warned the CBI then that your case will not even stand trial. I just want to go back to that statement that was made, and today it's all come full circle with the Rouse Avenue court discharging the case, dismissing the case, not even saying that it's worth a trial. I want to bring in my colleague Manish Pandey into this conversation. Manish, what implications could it really have, because the Enforcement Directorate's case is mounted on this very case?
Well, Preeti, there is no doubt that it's a major setback for the Central Bureau of Investigation. It is not only about discharging the 23 accused, a case which was being built by the Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate parallelly from last 5 years. The case has been demolished by the lower court. But, the observations made by the lower court against the Central Bureau of Investigation, their investigation and their officers, the allegations are very grave in nature. The court has gone on to an extent of saying that CBI was trying to set narrative in this case. While hearing the case, in case of Deputy Excise Commissioner, then Deputy Excise Commissioner Kuldeep Singh, the court said that, I don't know why you have been made accused in the case. There is no evidence against you. Same was in the case of Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia. So now there are two things. The entire ED case is dependent on the Central Bureau of Investigation's case. The Enforcement Directorate started their money laundering investigation based on the CBI FIR. CBI filed a charge sheet. Parallelly, the Enforcement Directorate filed a charge sheet. In both the cases, the evidence, the material evidence, the accused, almost everything is same. So if the CBI case falls flat, it will have implications on the Enforcement Directorate case also. So there are two things. One is a face-saving exercise for the Central Bureau of Investigation, because the observations are grave in nature, and that is why CBI has been maintaining that they are still confident that they have given enough evidence before the court. The court has not appreciated the evidence given by the Central Bureau of Investigation, and most of the evidence have been ignored, and that is why they have already approached the High Court in this case. And second, there will be pressure from the Enforcement Directorate also that this case, the lower court order should be stayed by the High Court so that the Enforcement Directorate can at least proceed with their trial in this case. But it is going to be very challenging, Preeti, because in most of the cases, what we have seen, if there is a legal hurdle, if there is a observation by the lower court, it becomes extremely difficult for any prosecuting agency to come out of it and, file a fresh charge sheet or, change the narrative of the case.
But Manish, I want to ask you very quickly, because because there is a political line in this as well. Many today, till date, keep recalling the caged parrot jibe at the CBI. Today is a day of reckoning for our central agencies as well, especially the CBI is concerned, where the top court today has practically said that there needs to be a departmental inquiry against the investigating officer of the CBI, because it seems that the entire case was choreographed.
Absolutely, Preeti. And, time and again, there have been observations not only by the top court, but also by the lower court. And in most of the high-profile cases, what we have seen that CBI cases fall flat. Remember 2G case, the entire political scenario was made that it's the biggest scam of the country. But when the order came from the lower court, the entire case, was demolished by the court. Same way in this case also, what I have been saying with the full authority here is that, Preeti, it is going to be a face-saving exercise for the Central Bureau of Investigation, because the remarks made by the lower court in this case against the Central Bureau of Investigation, their own officer, it is grave in nature. CBI, of course, will approach the High Court. It has already approached the High Court. We are hearing that there is a high possibility that the hearing will take place tomorrow, and then only CBI will
Okay.
ensure that there has to be a departmental inquiry or not. But there will be a legal battle by the CBI to make sure that the order of lower court is either stayed or reversed, so that there is some face-saving exercise for
Right.
the Central Bureau of Investigation and also for the Enforcement Directorate in future.